If you will be working in a country where conflict is occurring or has recently occurred, your work may require you to travel in areas affected by landmines and unexploded ordnance, also known as UXO. Even countries which have been at peace for years may have areas where mines and UXO have not yet been removed. Landmines and UXO can kill you or leave you permanently and severely disabled. It is crucial for you to have a basic understanding of the threat they pose, since ultimately you alone are responsible for your personal safety.
When I stepped on a landmine, I didn't know what it was. I thought I was under some type of terrorist attack or a rocket had been shot our way. And it was only when I looked down at my body and I saw that my right foot had been blown off and my left leg was blown wide open that I realized what landmines do and how insidious they are. That's just the right amount of explosive power to maim, not to kill, but to torture the person who steps on it, and then to draw other people to the same patch of land to torture them.
Landmines are designed to kill or injure people, or to damage or destroy vehicles. When a mine is detonated, injury or death is caused by the explosive charge or by metal fragments. Anyone close to a mine which detonates may be killed, and serious injuries are possible at much greater distances from the mine. Mines can be found on almost any hard or soft paved or unpaved surface, and even in water. Because most mines are deliberately hidden, they are usually difficult or impossible to see. Mines are often buried. They can also be placed on or above the ground, on stakes, or fixed to trees. Mines can be detonated in a number of different ways: direct pressure, tripwires, tilt rods, remote detonation, the passage of time, or by a combination of methods. Because mines come in many shapes, colors, and sizes, it is especially important that you become familiar with the mines most commonly used in your assigned country or area. But don't expect that deployed mines will ever be easy to see. They are almost always invisible. And remember, any suspicious object may be dangerous, whether or not it initially appears to be a mine. Don't take chances. In addition to military uses, mines are often used against civilian targets and to instill a sense of fear and vulnerability. As a result, mines may be found in areas with little or no military value, such as schools or agricultural fields. Areas where fighting or bombing has occurred may also be littered with unexploded ordnance of all types. UXO is often very unstable. Even a slight movement can cause bombs, missiles, shells, rockets, and cluster munitions to explode. You must know how to recognize potential risks, how to avoid them, and what you can do to ensure your personal safety and the safety of those around you at all times.
Things that we will be talking about.
It is not always possible to avoid mine and UXO affected areas completely, but obtaining the most up-to-date information and knowing the signs which warn of mined areas can greatly lessen the risks. All mines and UXO are extremely dangerous. Avoid suspicious-looking objects if you have any doubt at all, and report them to the proper authorities. Always pay attention to the warnings and advice of local residents. If local residents refuse to enter an area, walk along a path, or drive along a road, you should certainly avoid it as well. Remember, however, as time passes, people living in an area can become complacent. If you're unsure, ask several local residents, and if even one suggests an area is dangerous, don't go. Known mined areas will sometimes be marked, although the markings may not always be clear or readily understandable. In some instances, you may even find formal warning signs with the word mine in the local language, possibly with additional warning symbols. But often, warnings will be less obvious, made from whatever materials are at hand. Local mine warnings can include a piece of cloth tied on sticks or a fence, a can on a post, small piles or circles of rocks, or rocks laid across a path, sticks tied to form a cross placed across a path, or even a cross cut into the bark of a tree. Many other warnings may also be used. Be sure you understand the warnings used in the country or region where you'll be working.
We'll move again to an area called Kuzo.
Because of the danger posed by mines and UXO, it is essential to be well prepared when you're assigned to or travel in countries or regions affected by these weapons. This means being aware of all safety procedures of your organization. You must always seek out the best, most up-to-date information on the exact landmine UXO situation you'll be facing. Reliable current information should be obtained from all possible sources. These include mine action centers and demining organizations where they exist, field security officers, UN military observers or liaison officers, and especially local sources. These include NGOs and aid agencies working in the area, local authorities and local residents. But don't assume that local sources will always volunteer information on areas affected by mines and UXO. It is your responsibility to ask. The Landmine and UXO Safety Handbook is also a valuable resource which provides detailed information on landmines and on safety and emergency procedures to be followed. Be sure you have a copy and take time to review the handbook often. Take it with you when you travel. Keep a list of emergency contacts, telephone numbers, radio channels, and call signs in it. Always take time to ask about and understand the risks you may be facing, and always remember the most important safety rule concerning mines and UXO. If you have any doubt, don't go. Never, under any circumstance, attempt to handle anything that might be a mine or UXO. Only specially trained personnel should ever handle mines or UXO. The types of mines and UXO used, their deployment, and the degree of danger will vary from country to country. But basic safety and awareness information is applicable to any mine or UXO-affected country.
These mine signs.
Ensure that you and your colleagues have received mine and UXO awareness and safety training, and that you are familiar with first aid and safety procedures.
And then we are going.
Be sure to understand and use a personal travel checklist of safety, health, and medical items, including maps with the most up-to-date mine and UXO information available. In an emergency, these items could save your life. Check to be sure you have every item every time, and that you know how to use each one. Where applicable, check the expiration dates. Don't assume others can provide these items. When traveling in any vehicle, your organization may recommend the use of route cards or other charts to provide a record of your travel, including date, route, and estimated times of departure and arrival. They will then expect confirmation of safe arrival at your intended destination. If you've properly filled out and filed a route card, you can be sure that help will be available if you do not arrive at your destination. Make sure that any vehicle you travel in has all necessary safety and communications equipment, and that you know how to use it. Don't assume that someone else will do this. If you're unsure what this equipment is or how to use it, ask for proper training. Whenever you leave your vehicle, always carry your radio and first aid kit with you. If you find yourself in a mined area, they will do you no good if they're not available. The single best way to stay safe is to stay out of mine and UXO-affected areas. Always avoid any non-essential travel to or through high-risk areas. If, however, you have to work in high-risk areas, follow all safety procedures. Check for information each time you must travel. Be alert to mine signs and clues, and if in doubt, don't go. Whenever possible, travel with a companion. Always talk with local residents and observe their behavior to determine whether an area is safe. If even one source indicates an area is dangerous, do not go there. Whether walking or driving, stay on approved routes, and do not change these routes unless absolutely necessary. If you must change your route, advise your base or head office. If you're driving, try to stay on hard-surfaced roads. If you have to use dirt roads, stay on the existing tracks. In the morning, don't be the first to travel on any route. In the evenings, plan to be back 2 hours before sunset. Always allow some time for delays. Do not leave the tracks of the road for any reason. If necessary, back up, keeping the vehicle on the road. Remember, a travelled road is not necessarily a cleared road. Anti-tank mines are often laid on road sides. Whether on a paved or unpaved road, do not make speed a higher priority than safety. Driving more slowly will allow you a bit more time to react to obstacles or suspicious objects that might be encountered. If you're walking, try to stick to paved roads or hard surfaces where your vision is unobstructed. Do not walk through overgrown areas. If an obstacle is in your path, do not attempt to move it. An obstacle or the areas around it may be mined or booby-trapped. Do not enter abandoned buildings or visit deserted locations. Similarly, do not approach an abandoned car or truck or any type of military vehicle. Mines and booby traps may be hidden in these locations. Be aware of other clues that an area may be mined, such as carcasses or skeletons of dead animals. If you do see a mine or something you suspect to be a mine or UXO, never approach or attempt to touch it. Note the mine's location on your map and report it to your organization, the local mine action center or demining agency, and the local authorities. The best way to avoid injury or death from landmines or UXO is simply to avoid affected areas. If you see a mine or there has been an explosion, stop immediately, inform the other members of your team, and assess the exact situation carefully and fully. If you're walking, examine the ground around your feet slowly and carefully, without moving, to make sure this immediate area is safe. Look carefully for any mines, tripwires, or suspicious objects. Then call your base for help and wait for assistance to arrive. This should always be the preferred course of action when possible. If you have filled out route cards and followed safety procedures, it will be only a matter of time before help arrives. If you are in a situation where no external help can be expected, you will need to decide whether safe escape is possible. Visually locate the nearest safe ground, which may be the last place you knew you were on a hard-surfaced road or other firm surface. If you have been walking in soft or muddy ground and your footsteps are visible, slowly and very carefully retrace your steps back to safe ground. Step only where you have already stepped before. If you cannot retrace your footsteps, or find a mine on what you thought was a safe route, or if you cannot remember which path you took, you will simply have to remain where you are and wait for assistance. There is no other safe choice. Remember, it is better to spend a day or two in a minefield than be injured or killed. If you're in a vehicle and find yourself in a minefield, stop, stay in the vehicle, and don't move the steering wheel. Call for help using your radio or mobile telephone.
On the road between Chinoy and Kariba, and they've just come some...
If it is absolutely necessary to get out, do so only at the back of the vehicle and step only in the tracks where the vehicle has driven. Being in a minefield is an emergency, but clear thinking and following proper procedures will greatly reduce the risk of further injury or death. If you're in a situation where you or someone else is injured by a mine or UXO, do not panic. Assess the situation and call for both mine clearance and medevac assistance immediately. Do not rush over to the victim. This could result in your becoming a second casualty. After the victim has been brought to safe ground by mine experts, you can assist and administer first aid. If you can get the victim to a vehicle, proceed at once to the nearest medical facility. If faster or better transport can be arranged along the way, do so.
So the lesson of landmines is that you can't be too careful and that you have to be trained not only to recognize them and to prevent accidents, but also what to do in that worst case scenario where there is an accident. And there's no book in the world that really truly trains you for that moment, but there are pieces of information that should be acquired by relief workers and people living next to landmine fields on what to do in the worst case scenario.
When you're working in a mine or UXO affected country, you must take time to understand the threat these weapons pose, how they work, how and why they are used, how to avoid minefields, and what you must do to ensure your personal safety. Don't get careless after you've been working in a mine and UXO affected country for some time. One small oversight can easily lead to a serious accident, endangering yourself and others. Always get the most up-to-date information on mines and UXO from all available sources, including local residents. Get and use the Landmine and UXO Safety Handbook, which provides detailed information on safety and emergency procedures. Avoiding mines and UXO is the only sure way of staying safe. If you have any doubt whether an area, path or road is safe, don't go. There are no second chances with landmines. Remember also never to touch a landmine, UXO or suspicious-looking object. Always report these objects and call for assistance. No one can guarantee that landmine or UXO accidents will never occur, but by following all safety and awareness procedures, you will greatly lessen the chance that you will become a victim. Your safety and the safety of your colleagues is in your hands.